readers, so we are going to keep reading those silly poems and thinking about the viewpoint, the point of view. So you are having your Big Wonders book today, and then you're going to want that worksheet, Ollie's Escapes, printed out also, okay? So as I share my screen with you, you are turning to page 547. 547. And you should see Ollie's Escape, okay? So as we're reading, we are thinking about how the characters are feeling and what they're thinking, right? Their point of view. And then we are coming up with those details that prove it. We want the proof, right? And today we will look at and do box number 1 together. You will do box number 2 on your own today, all right? So let's go ahead and read those couple pages together. Ollie's Escape. Ollie escaped in the classroom, and that was an awful mistake. It would have been folly to try to catch Ollie, since Ollie's a 7-foot, what? Snake. He wiggled his way toward the teacher. Who jumped on her desk with a scream. Faster, faster! He squiggled right past her. Old Ollie was picking up steam. The rest of us ran for the closet. As Ollie slid right out the door, we heard a loud squall as he entered the hall. He's a difficult snake to ignore. He slithered his way to the office as teachers jumped out of his way. But Principal Poole is the boss of the school. We wondered just what he would say. What do you think the principal is going to say? So let's just kind of look at the pictures first. So here's that poor teacher. She's jumping up on her desk. Here's Ollie just slithering down. You think that's the principal? I don't know. All right, let's keep going. What do you think he's going to say? Let's keep reading and see. It didn't take long for an answer. In fact, he decided to scoot. He burst through the door with a terrified roar and a 7-foot snake in pursuit. Ollie the snake was excited, and we, of course, thought it was fun to see teachers hiding while Ollie was sliding and Principal Poole on the run. They ordered us out of the building, and somebody called the police. There were doctors and vets and men with big nets to make sure the problem would cease. But Ollie at last was exhausted. He snaked his way back to his den. When they searched all around, he was finally found, curled up, asleep in his pen. Those poems, they are weird and crazy and silly. That's how I like poems. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at box number 1, okay? So this was a narrative poem and it tells a story, but it was written in those chunks, those stanzas, all right? So who are the characters in this story? Well, Ollie the snake, right? The teacher. Do you remember the principal's name? What was the principal's name? Principal Poole. And then who was the narrator? Who was telling the poem? A student, right? So then what was the setting? Go ahead and write it down. Whose setting is the school, right? All right, so then we're sequencing the poem. What happens at the beginning of this poem? What's the first thing that happens? Ollie escaped, right? So let's do some sequence words. So let's start with first. Ollie escapes. And then what happens? What could we say next? Next, he wiggled his way toward the teacher, who jumped on her desk with a scream. Faster and faster, he squiggled right past her. Old Ollie was picking up steam. The rest of us ran for the closet as Ollie slid right out the door. Next, he slides out the door. Maybe we should say first Ollie escapes, and who does he scare? The teacher? Next, he slides out the door. We hear a loud squall as he entered the hall. He's a difficult snake to ignore. He slithered his way to the office as teachers jumped out of his way. But Principal Poole is the boss of this school, so he slides out the door and goes to the office, right? Then what happens at the end? Could you write it in your own words? Take a minute and write it in your own words. What's happening at the end of this poem? You have to reread it. Go ahead. What happens? Well, do a lot of people come to try to catch him? And then what ends up happening? He falls a what? Asleep. So you should be writing something like that. Did you put a transition word? How about finally? People try to catch Ollie and find him asleep in his cage, right? I'm not a big fan of snakes, but little Ollie, he seems kind of cute. I don't know if I would think he's cute as he was slithering down the hallway at school, though. All right, guys. So you are going to do box number 2 by yourself, and it's point of view, okay? So here's some clues, some tips to help you. Look for details that show what the narrator thinks and feels, what we've been saying all along. Here's our question. How do the characters feel in the poem when Ollie escapes? Fill in the graphic organizer to show supporting details. So you might want to work backwards. You might want to start with the point of view and then work your way up. If you want to pick just one character, you can, okay? For your discussion post, you are posting the point of view, but you need to be specific. So if you're saying it's the point of view of the teacher or the point of view of Principal Poole, you need to include that. And then you are posting one detail. I want you to come up with 3 if you can that help you with the point of view. But for our discussion post, you're just doing the point of view. You're including whose point of view it is and that detail. Okay, guys? All right. Read that poem to mom and dad. I think they'll enjoy it. All right, I'll talk to you later.